back to back to back to back to back. Right, so this is number 8. They keep our head in the clouds, our bodies stretched like oaks reaching for heaven, trying to catch a glimpse of God in real life. We believe in fairy tales. They protect us from the truth, help us to be comfortable with mediocrity and lies. We pass it to our babies as comfort, like a blanket on a cold winter night. They cuddle in it, learn to betray themselves, die trying to fit in the box, color in the lines, be someone else's imagination, look away from the pain that brought them here, so we say keep it real, but what's real without reality? The reality is my sister is dead, and this is no fairy tale, no nice way to put it. I'm not being negative, no storyline or exaggerated rap song, no superheroes or tough guys here. No one to save the day. She was murdered by a man that hated women more than he hated himself. He killed her and her friend in cold blood without sorrow or remorse. They, small, unarmed, off guard. And still we're too afraid to protect our babies with the truth. The truth is women die here. They're hated and beaten, tortured and murdered. Voting didn't end it. Serial killers are fathers and husbands too. Jealous boyfriends, enraged lovers. We learn to be men at everyone else's expense. How lynching and sickness, pain, poverty and heroin, self-worthlessness, hatred and fear becomes rape, molestation and murder. We hide history, pretend smile, glorify the ghetto or run from it. Our children learn fiction as integrity and mistake enemies for friends. We shun the truth, give evil life, and disarm our babies. Hell, just because you don't tell somebody something doesn't mean it doesn't exist or it won't happen to them. Just because you teach your babies, your children to love everyone don't mean they won't be pulled over and profiled. Just because you tell your girls they're pretty and smart don't mean they won't be hunted, hated. They say fighting never solved anything, but that's the only thing that seems to be keeping us alive.
Dig that.
My mama named me Shanetta Ivory Lenora Brown, but they call me Sweets. Sweet Ivory Brown. Sweet Ivory Brown. Don't make fun of me, keep your names to yourself. I have my own, God knows my name. He screams at me, Lenora, Lenora. He chases me, chasing myself around subjugated street corners through broken needles and great poison, yelling, Lenora, Lenora, and I run. But he claps for me. He claps me because I'm a dancer. See me dancing under the moonlight against the violent wind, jamming, my cheap dress falling off my body, my arms outstretched, mouth wide open, leaning against gravity, rhythm in my sleepwalk. My nod is vicious. I am bad, Shanetta Ivory Lenora Brown. Hey, Sweets, hey, Sweets, see me? Dancing to the whistles of early morning birds and cricket chatter. I am a dope fiend, the dry bones in the valley of death, the morning crust on the side of your mouth. Know my name. Know my name. The world loves me this way. The only way they will set me is free. Laid out against the wet sky, nose running, my soul shaking, hysterically begging for the music. Put on the blues. Somebody put on the blues, man. Or let Coltrane blast his horn and my ears drum symphonies. My nod has rhythm. You know me, Shanetta, Lenora. It's me, Ivory Brown. Sweets. Watch me tease death. Slow dance with the end of it all on the edge of steel and stone. I'm not afraid of dying, I'm already dead. Smell my accomplishment, the economic truth boiling over hell. I like being high, a hope to die dope fiend. I call my Jones by his first name, he's loyal to me. The only thing I can depend on, the constant and market fluctuations. My high is good to me. Yeah, so good to me. See me, I dance in storms and hurricanes push on my heart. I see my spirit talking to serpents and Jesus riding in on ice cream trucks selling love and passing out crack bottles. My Jones got everything I own. I am empty, sweating on top of snow-covered garbage lids and freezing cold Februaries, calling my Jones. Where's my Jones? My cheap dress falling off my body, sweat dripping off my face. Let the maggots feed on me, use me as their excuse to be inhumane, to hate niggas and poor folks and women in the streets that gave them their chance. But I ask one thing, I just ask one thing from all of you staring at me. The next time you stroll past my limp body into that big beautiful church on the corner and you find yourself on your knees negotiating with God for your new Mercedes, mention my name if you remember me. Shanetta Ivory Lenora Brown. He knows me. Tell him to reach out. Reach out and grab my face and hold it tight, ear tight, real, real tight. Just a few more, is that okay?
Many more.
Try to teach my children in school and my little children to write poetry too. But we live in a generation that thinks that they could be poets without reading poetry. That's like wanting to be a mathematician without studying math, right? There's so many poets out here that don't know poets. And it kind of bothers me that architects who want to build buildings go look at the most beautiful buildings ever built. They study the structures and they learn from the best how to be the best, right? I was a kid writing poetry and putting it in my back pocket at 17 years old on Avon Avenue on 14th Street because the poetry I learned in school was different from the poetry I heard as a kid. Like I learned some poetry in school that has a specific kind of cadence and it was taught to us, and then I listened to Sonia Sanchez in my mother's house and I said, well, that's not it. Right, but that can't possibly be it. Or listen to my father and all the sounds he made and all of the things he did, and I said, well, that's not poetry, so maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, you know, because I don't have a degree, so I don't know. Maybe all the people at my parents' house, they doing something different. They disguising it as poetry. But, you know, we don't read or study those folks, so in order for us to be good writers, we ought to read people who write, who spent a lifetime writing. Right? So I try to introduce them to poets, and young poets too. You know, people who, if you find good poets, they always have other poets that they talk about. Right? So we can't get so narcissistic, so selfish, because this is what we learn, that our poetry is only the only poetry we listen to. We like to read our own poetry to ourselves, and that's it. We in the mirror in the bathroom. Getting it in, can't wait for the next poetry event. You know, I actually get inspired to write poetry listening to other poets. If I don't hear poets, sometimes that's how I get writer's block. When I put myself in spaces that are dead and dry, and there's nothing happening, as long as you're moving forward, you'll always have something to write about, right? So this is for my city. Season's greetings. My city is the blues gone bad. A love song stuck in your head, humming off tune. Things happen over and over and over to each one of us. We all on our knees in unison, our heads in our hands. People are dying here, and we still get Christmas cards from politicians smiling in the safety of their living rooms or law firms, trying to convince you that crime is going down while your children stand in colors walled in as targets with broken guns, watching billions of dollars coming in and out of their city as fast as their daddy left their mama, begging to at least get a chance to pick up the garbage on their own block. But these people found a way to make it rain where everyone don't get wet. Yet you see still some drenched striped tie sticking to their striped shirts, standing, smiling, pretending to be dry, or worse, not be wet. Trying to convince you that everything is okay, or to believe in monsters and white folks when it's really capitalism that's killing you. Do they know anyone that lives here? Can they recognize the body struggling against the cold air, hear the eerie sound squeezing between moment to moment? Do they mistake it for music? My city is the blues. It got this way on purpose, complete with gunpowder residue, history that we don't talk about in council meetings where you can get arrested for singing spirituals, Negroes in charge too. Scrambling for leftovers and set-asides, and we set aside confusing sides. Some don't even pick a side, or pick a side, killing people on the wrong side as hundreds and thousands of us watch from the side. My sister made her way here, trying to make this place beautiful again, to love out front and deliberately, to save children, shelter their dreams from that buzzing circling overhead like flies on old meat. Things have gotten worse since she's left. Lots of candles and crowded tenement meetings, roadblocks and thick red sewage and floodlights. People chasing gunshots, Channel 12 and our children's dead bodies, blaming needle exchanges for junkies, not the Contras and hopelessness. Funny thing though, when crime goes down, murder seems to go up. Here money soothes the savage beast. Here money soothes the savage beast. Because music was taken out of the urban school curriculum a long, long time ago. So I'm in the middle of an election, and money is always, you know, the answer. The first thing you do to people is deprive them of things. And when you deprive people of things for a long time, then anything. They say a drowning man will grab onto anything, right?
Right.
And that's what happens when you deprive people of things for so long. Anything looks good. We went through that in Newark. Anything, when you drown in anything, it's better than here, right? And so that's what happens. And you sometimes forget about yourself, and you pick anybody else but you. And when you get to a point where anybody else but you is attractive, then we are in a bad place. When everything that looks good doesn't resemble you. Everything that's perfect and beautiful and right and good and just has nothing to do with you. That means they've taken us to the last point, where everything that resembles me, and I'm not just talking about color because skin is thin, I'm talking about our condition, our people. You know, the people who live next door to you. You know, your mama, your brother, your sister, your aunt. Whenever you get an education and the education makes you despise the people you live among, then you have to question the education that you're getting.
All right. There you go. There you go.
I had to say that to a young man, unfortunately, on a block campaigning, a young, beautiful, smart college student who just came home, who had nothing positive to say about the city or the people in it. I had to tell him, you have to really look at the education you're getting. Because if people are teaching you to hate your own mother and father, then something's wrong there.
They're indoctrination.
Right? So you need to find another place to get an education.
There you go.
Or supplement it with something else. Right? Supplement it with something else. And I hate to bore you with all of these things, but I just, you know, it's on my heart, and I think it needs to be said, because I think our situation is the same situation all over the country. Working people, black and brown and poor people in these cities all over America and the rural places are living in the same kind of conditions, and we are struggling for answers, right? So we have an opportunity. We have to start telling them to attack poverty and not attack poor people, right? So we have to come up with a plan, an idea, a way to transform these communities, transform our lives, transform our families, and continue a democratic struggle in this country that was not finished. Some of us believe it was finished, but it was not finished. The election of Barack Obama does not signal the finish of the democratic struggle in America. That is not the signal of it. Right? It's just another phase of struggle. But the struggle for democracy has not ended. It did not end with the end of Jim Crow, with the Voting Rights Act. It did not end with the Black Power movement. It did not end. So we still have things that we need to struggle for and against. Walk on, black woman, walk on. Walk on, black woman, walk on with your head held high and your shoulders back. Walk on, black woman, walk on. Let the world dance to your music. Hug yourself each daybreak. See yourself in all things majestic. Walk through life as you are. Be loved, be graceful, be black, be time, be the sun, be beautiful. Walk on, black woman, walk on. Be creative, create yourself in the imagination of darkness in the warmth of your womb. Populate the world with little wide-eyed black girls with big smiles. Walk through life as you are. Be loved, be graceful, be black, be time, be the sun, be beautiful, be loved, be graceful, be black, be the time, be the sun, be beautiful. Walk on, black women, walk on. Let your footprints tell your stories. Raise your voice and be counted. Wear your crown all the time. Walk through life as you are. Be loved, be graceful, be black, be time, be the sun, be beautiful, be loved, be graceful, be black, be the time, be the sun, be beautiful, be loved, be graceful, be black, be the time, be the sun, be beautiful, be loved, be graceful, be black, be the time, be the sun, be beautiful, be loved, be graceful, be black, be the time, be the sun, be beautiful, be beautiful, be beautiful, be beautiful, be beautiful, black women, because you are beautiful. Be sassy, walk your rhythms, put your hands on your hips. Let the world revel in your brown glory. Walk through life, black woman, as you are.